Welcome back to the Deep Dive. We love to get your suggestions for topics. And this time we're diving into something you sent us,
Oh, wow.
an audio file titled 2017 Fake Rapture, Alien Invasion Evidence Project Blue Beam, must watch .1.mp3.
Catchy title.
It is. And, well, this audio file presents a theory that you might find pretty out there.
I'm intrigued.
Get this, a potential fake rapture,
Oh, wow.
orchestrated using something called Project Blue Beam to usher in a new world order.
Okay, so we're dealing with some pretty interesting concepts here.
Yeah, and the speaker in this audio file seems to genuinely believe in this theory, weaving together scripture, personal experiences, and observations to make their case.
It's always fascinating to see how people construct these narratives.
It is, so let's unpack it, shall we?
Let's do it.
The speaker starts by anchoring their theory to the biblical Feast of Trumpets, suggesting it as a possible time frame for the rapture.
Okay, so right off the bat, we're dealing with some pretty specific theological interpretations.
Yeah, what's interesting here is that even while being fixated on this specific event, the speaker acknowledges the uncertainty surrounding the exact timing of the rapture.
Right. It's like they're trying to reconcile a deeply held belief with the ambiguity inherent in interpreting biblical prophecy.
Exactly. It's like they're saying, we know the big event is coming, but even we don't have all the details. But then they drop this bombshell Project Bluebeam.
It's like the conspiracy theory equivalent of a plot twist.
It is. They claim it's some kind of advanced technology capable of projecting super realistic images into the sky.
Like large-scale holograms.
Almost. Yeah, the idea of the sky itself being used for deception is incredibly potent.
It really is. It plays on very primal fears about manipulation and the erosion of reality.
Especially given how fast technology is changing.
Think about deepfakes, for example.
Oh, yeah.
And the growing concern about distinguishing truth from fabrication.
Absolutely. And according to the speaker, this Project Bluebeam could be used to stage a fake rapture.
I'm trying to picture this. So the sky is filled with images of people ascending.
That's the idea, leaving others behind in chaos and doubt.
It's a pretty striking scenario.
Definitely.
And it really speaks to a deep distrust not only of authorities,
But also of potential false prophets within their own belief system.
That's an interesting point.
It raises the question, why would anyone go to such lengths to stage a fake rapture?
Right. What would be the goal?
Well, the speaker seems to think it's about spiritual control, shaking people's faith and making them more susceptible to manipulation.
So it's all part of a larger plan to undermine belief and usher in a new world order?
Hostile to their values.
Okay. I'm trying to understand the logic here, but I'm struggling with how a fake rapture would actually achieve that goal.
Yeah. I mean, you'd think true believers would see through the deception.
And become even more solidified in their faith.
Not less.
Right. But remember, conspiracy theories often thrive on this idea of a hidden enemy,
Working against the common good.
pulling the strings from behind the scenes.
This narrative can be incredibly compelling.
Especially for those already feeling disenfranchised or distrustful of authority.
So it's less about the specific mechanics of a fake rapture
Yeah.
and more about tapping into that deep-seated fear of being controlled or misled.
Yes, and it's fascinating how the speaker attempts to ground this fear in real-world observations.
Like what?
They point to weird lights in the sky and those vast fields of solar panels we're seeing pop up everywhere.
As potential evidence of Project Bluebeam being tested.
They even suggest that these solar panels might be powering the massive projectors needed for this elaborate hoax.
Hold on a second. Solar panels powering sky-sized holograms.
It's a bold claim.
I'm no tech expert, but isn't that a bit of a stretch?
I think it's safe to say that the technology for something like that doesn't quite exist yet.
Just how technologically feasible is something like Project Bluebeam?
To create the kind of effects the speaker describes, we'd need technology far beyond anything we currently have.
Imagine trying to project a hyper-realistic image not on a screen, but onto the sky itself.
Visible to millions, perhaps billions of people.
Even with cutting-edge holographic technology, we're nowhere near achieving that level of scale and fidelity.
And you're right, the logistics of such an operation would be mind-boggling.
It would involve countless people, resources, and coordination.
Making a cover-up practically impossible.
Okay, so if we're being realistic, the technology for Project Bluebeam, as described, simply doesn't exist.
It seems that way.
So how do we explain the enduring appeal of this theory?
I think it taps into a much deeper well of human psychology.
What do you mean?
We are wired to look for patterns and explanations, especially in the face of the unknown.
And in a world that often feels increasingly complex and chaotic, a conspiracy theory, even one as elaborate as Project Bluebeam.
can offer a strange sense of order and control.
So it's like if you can pinpoint the enemy, even if that enemy is a shadowy cabal, using futuristic technology to fake the rapture.
You can at least feel like you have some grasp on what's happening.
Exactly, and that sense of agency, however illusory, can be deeply comforting in the face of uncertainty and anxiety.
But it's important to remember that these theories, while compelling, often distract us from addressing the very real challenges we face as a society.
Instead of getting bogged down in hypotheticals about sky-projected holograms.
Perhaps we should be focusing on developing critical thinking skills to discern truth from fiction in an increasingly complex information landscape,
That's a great point. It's not about dismissing people's beliefs outright.
but rather encouraging them to apply critical thinking and healthy skepticism to the information they encounter.
So while the technology behind Project Bluebeam might be pure science fiction, the anxieties, it reflects anxieties about control manipulation and the unknown, are very real.
Absolutely. And those anxieties are something we'll delve into further as we continue our deep dive into this fascinating, albeit unconventional theory.
I can't wait.
Me neither. It's worth noting that the speaker's belief in Project Bluebeam is very closely tied to their interpretation of the biblical Feast of Trumpets.
Yeah, I remember them saying that this period holds special significance, potentially aligning with the timing of the rapture. So what's the significance of the Feast of Trumpets, and how does it factor into their theory?
Well, the Feast of Trumpets is a time of reflection and repentance in the Jewish tradition,
Okay.
often associated with themes of judgment and the return of a Messiah, and it's seen by some Christian groups as a foreshadowing of the rapture.
So the speaker is kind of seeing this biblical event through the lens of their specific beliefs about the end times.
Yeah.
Connecting into this larger narrative of deception and spiritual warfare.
Exactly. And it's as though they're interpreting the Feast of Trumpets as not only a time of spiritual awakening,
Okay.
but also as a potential window of vulnerability, a time when believers might be particularly susceptible to deception.
It's like they're saying, be on high alert during this time.
Right.
Because that's when the enemy is going to try to pull a fast one.
Mm-hmm.
But if we set aside the biblical interpretation for a moment,
Sure.
what about these claims about weird lights and solar panel fields? Do those observations hold any weight, or are they kind of misinterpreting things?
Well, it's understandable why someone might see unusual lights in the sky and jump to conclusions, especially if they're already primed to believe in something like Project Bluebeam.
So we're talking about things that could be easily explained by, natural phenomena,
Yes.
military aircraft, or even just hoaxes.
Precisely, without concrete evidence or further investigation, it's impossible to say for sure what these weird lights might be.
Okay.
As for the solar panels,
Yeah.
it's far more likely that they're serving their intended purpose,
Which is-
generating renewable energy rather than powering some secret holographic projection system.
Right.
Remember, large-scale solar installations are becoming increasingly common
Oh, yeah.
as we transition towards more sustainable energy sources.
It's like saying, look, there's a giant metallic bird in the sky. It must be an alien spacecraft.
Right.
When it's actually just a commercial airliner reflecting the sunlight.
Exactly. It's a great example of how our pre-existing beliefs can influence our perception and lead us to draw conclusions that may not be supported by evidence.
It's like looking at a cloud and seeing a rabbit, because you're expecting to see a rabbit.
Precisely.
So how do we reconcile the speaker's fervent belief in Project Bluebeam with the lack of any real-world evidence to support it?
Well, it's more nuanced than just a matter of faith versus fact.
Okay.
Belief systems, especially those deeply rooted in religious convictions,
Yeah.
can be incredibly powerful and resilient.
They offer a framework for understanding the world
Right.
and provide comfort in the face of uncertainty.
Exactly.
So even if the evidence doesn't line up, the belief itself can offer a sense of meaning and purpose, almost like a shield against the chaos of the world.
You could say that.
It's important to remember we're not here to debunk anyone's beliefs.
Right. Our goal is to explore the logic behind them,
Okay,
examine the evidence presented, and encourage critical thinking.
that makes sense. It's all about giving our listener the tools to analyze information and come to their own conclusions. Speaking of which, the speaker also mentions personal dreams as evidence for Project Bluebeam.
Oh, yes.
They even share a dream about a faint cartoonish portal
Interesting.
and claim a listener had a similar dream.
Okay.
So how much weight should we give these personal experiences?
Well, dreams can be vivid and emotionally charged,
Oh, yeah, for sure.
and they often reflect our waking concerns and anxieties.
I can see that.
It's not uncommon for people to attach special significance to dreams.
Especially when those dreams seem to align with their existing beliefs.
Exactly. You have a vivid dream that confirms a fear you already have,
Right.
and it can feel like a message from beyond.
But couldn't these dreams also just be a reflection of their anxieties about Project Bluebeam?
Absolutely. It's entirely possible that their subconscious is processing these anxieties and fears through dreams.
It's like a feedback loop.
Right.
The more they believe in Project Bluebeam, the more likely they are to have dreams that reinforce that belief.
Exactly. And that's why it's so important to approach these kinds of personal experiences with a critical eye. It's not about dismissing them entirely,
Right.
but rather understanding the psychological factors that might be at play.
This is all very interesting, but I'm still struggling with the why of it all.
Okay.
Even if we entertain the idea of Project Bluebeam for a moment,
Sure.
what would be the end goal of such a massive deception? What's the supposed payoff for orchestrating a fake rapture?
Well, according to the speaker, the ultimate objective is to manipulate and control the population by shaking people's faith, by creating chaos and doubt.
Yeah.
They believe that those in power could more easily impose their will.
So it goes beyond just spiritual control. Then it's about wielding power and influence on a global scale.
That seems to be the underlying premise. Remember, this theory taps into a deep-seated distrust of authority figures and institutions,
Yeah.
a belief that there's a hidden agenda at play.
It's like that old saying, just because you're paranoid doesn't mean they're not after you. But even if we grant that there are people in positions of power who might want to manipulate the population, wouldn't a fake rapture ultimately backfire? Wouldn't it create more resistance and solidify people's beliefs even further?
That's a great question, and it really gets to the heart of the paradox inherent in many conspiracy theories.
Okay.
On the one hand, they present a scenario designed to undermine faith and control the masses.
Okay.
On the other hand, they often serve to strengthen those very beliefs by creating a sense of shared persecution and a call to action.
So it's almost like a self-fulfilling prophecy.
Right.
The more people believe in the conspiracy, the more likely they are to interpret events through that lens, even if those events have perfectly rational explanations.
Precisely. It's a fascinating example of how belief systems can act as filters, shaping our perceptions and influencing our interpretations of the world around us.
So we've got this theory built on a specific biblical interpretation, fueled by anxieties about technology and control, and reinforced by personal experiences like dreams. Pretty potent mix.
It is.
Even if the evidence itself might be flimsy.
Yes. And that's why it's so important to understand the psychological factors that contribute to belief in these kinds of theories.
What are the underlying anxieties and needs that these theories fulfill? What makes them so appealing to some people, despite the lack of concrete evidence?
That's a great segue into the next part of our deep dive. We've talked about the what and the how of Project Bluebeam, but now let's explore the why. Why would this theory resonate so deeply with some, and what does it tell us about the broader anxieties and uncertainties we face in the 21st century?
We've spent a good amount of time now unpacking this Project Bluebeam theory. You know, the biblical interpretations, the technological claims, and the motivations behind it all. But I keep circling back to this. If we set aside the idea of a literal fake rapture happening, what deeper anxieties might this theory be reflecting?
That's a crucial question. While the idea of sky-projected holograms might seem far-fetched, the anxieties underlying this theory are very real and deeply resonant in our current cultural landscape.
So what kind of anxieties are we talking about?
Well, think about it. We live in an age of information overload where technology is advancing at an unprecedented rate.
It can definitely feel overwhelming at times.
It's easy to feel powerless in the face of these rapid changes.
Right, like every day there's a new gadget.
A new algorithm.
A new way our data is being collected and used.
It can feel like we're losing control, that things are happening around us that we don't fully understand or have a say in.
Exactly, and that sense of unease, that fear of the unknown, can create fertile ground for conspiracy theories.
Take root.
So in a way, Project Bluebeam, even if it's not a literal threat, serves as a kind of symbolic representation of these anxieties.
Precisely. It gives a face, however fantastical, to these amorphous fears about technology control and the erosion of truth.
It's almost a way of like externalizing those anxieties, giving them a tangible form that can be confronted.
Even resisted.
It's like, if I can pinpoint the enemy, even if that enemy is a shadowy cabal using holographic technology to fake the rapture, then at least I can feel like I'm not completely powerless.
That's a great way to put it. It's about reclaiming a sense of agency in a world that can often feel very much out of our control.
But isn't there a danger in getting too caught up in these theories?
Hmm.
I mean, if we spend all our time worrying about fake alien invasions and sky-projected holograms,
Yeah.
are we missing the bigger picture?
That's a valid concern. While it's important to be aware of these theories and understand why they resonate with some people,
Yeah.
it's equally important to maintain a healthy dose of skepticism and critical thinking.
So how do we strike that balance? How do we acknowledge these anxieties without getting swept up in them?
It's about cultivating a critical mindset, a willingness to question information,
Okay.
to seek out diverse perspectives, and to be open to the possibility that we might be wrong.
So it's not about ignoring these theories or dismissing them outright, but rather engaging with them critically
Right.
and using them as an opportunity to reflect on our own anxieties and biases.
Exactly. Even a seemingly outlandish theory like Project Bluebeam can serve as a valuable starting point
Okay.
for a deeper conversation about the role of technology in our lives, the nature of belief, and the importance of critical thinking in an age of misinformation.
You know, as we've been talking, I've been thinking about the speaker in that audio file.
Yeah,
They clearly feel very strongly about this.
they do.
And they're trying to warn others to protect them from what they see as a very real threat.
And that sincerity is something we should acknowledge.
It's easy to dismiss conspiracy theories as the product of paranoia or delusion,
Right.
but often they stem from a genuine desire to understand the world and to feel safe within it.
It's a reminder that even when we disagree with someone's beliefs, we can still approach them with empathy and respect.
Absolutely. It's about having those difficult conversations. The ones that challenge our perspectives and push us to think more critically.
Exactly.
So as we wrap up this deep dive into Project Bluebeam, what's the key takeaway for our listener?
I think the most important takeaway is this. Be curious,
Okay.
be critical, and be open to new information.
Question your assumptions, examine the evidence, and don't be afraid to change your mind.
Remember, the journey of understanding is ongoing.
And there's always more to learn.
Beautifully put.
It's not about having all the answers,
Right.
but rather about embracing the process of inquiry and discovery.
Exactly. And sometimes even the most outlandish theories can lead us to unexpected insights.
Well, that's certainly been the case with our deep dive into Project Bluebeam. Thank you so much for joining us on this fascinating exploration.
My pleasure.
And to our listener, keep those sources coming. You never know what rabbit holes we might find ourselves tumbling down next.